Last time I talked to my mom, she said, Denver, I haven't heard from you in a while. I was wondering if you were still alive. I have a life insurance policy on you. I'm going to say that again. Last time I talked to my mom, she said, Denver, I haven't heard from you in a while. I have a life insurance policy on you. Can you believe that crap? Do not feel obligated to reconcile with your mother. If she was always a piece of crap your whole life, and still is a piece of crap. My mom told me that she didn't want to have me when I was younger. She told me. She said, I didn't want to have you. My father, she's like, your father made me have you. Only for her to keep me away from her father. I'm going to say that again. When I was young, me and my mom used to get into it. Because my mom wasn't, after her last marriage, she wasn't always right in the head. She got diagnosed with bipolar. She said, I didn't even want you. Your father made me have you. For her only to keep me away from my father when I was like 3 years old because she caught him cheating. What sense does that make? Why not just give me to my father if he's the one who made you have me? This is how a lot of black melanated females, whichever you prefer, this is how a lot of them are. They don't want to take care of raise their boys into men the right way, but they want to keep their boys/men away from their biological fathers and bring some stepfather into the role to try to fill that void. That's what my mom did. She got married to a dude I told her not to marry. I was 11, 12 years old. I met him and I had a bad feeling. He was living dirty. He was a mama's boy. I told her, I said, don't marry him. She married him, and what happened? They would argue every single day. They didn't even live together first. They moved in and lived together like right away after being engaged and married. He was abusive mentally, emotionally, physically. My mom got diagnosed with bipolar. My mom went into the psych ward in the hospital, the psych unit, and he was trying to adopt me to take over the house. It didn't work out, luckily. But yeah, man, my mom has always been a failure. My mom has always put men before me my whole life. I can't remember the age, but I still remember vividly walking into her in bed with a white man. And I'm not going to say that has to do the reason why I choose to date Caucasian women, white women. I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say, the way my mom is and the way she raised me, my aunts and everything, and even my grandmother is the reason, probably has a lot to do with the reason why, my upbringing. My mom kicked me out when I was like 17, 18. But she didn't do it by like, oh, get out of my house. She did it. She went through the court system. She thought she was slick. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts. I had a 7 p.m. to midnight schedule, right? A marshal came in and he served me papers. And he told me that my mom was the one who came up with the idea to have me evicted. Pretty much the reason why the marshal was there. He served me papers saying that my mom said that I was emotionally and mentally abusive and all this stuff. And she wanted me out, man. She wanted me out. So the paperwork that marshal gave me pretty much told me that I was not allowed to go to the house without a police officer. So me getting out of work at midnight, I had to get a police officer to go there to the house to get my things. I didn't have much time. It was like 15, 20 minutes. The whole time I'm getting my stuff out, she's like, I'm sorry, da-da-da-da-da. And the police officer, he's like, man, I feel bad for you. Your mom's not right. He knew it. He didn't even know me. He didn't even know her well. He was just assessing the situation. And the short period of conversation he had with her, the short conversation, maybe like 2 minutes he had with her, he could just tell she wasn't right in the head. So I was pretty much homeless, man. Luckily, I had a Caucasian girlfriend I was with. We were together for about 2-3 years at that point, maybe a little longer. Yeah, probably like 2-3 years. And I stayed with her and her dad for a little while until we was able to get our own apartment, which her mom actually helped us get our own apartment. So yeah, man, that's the situation that my mom put me in. And then through my whole high school years, I didn't have her support. She was too focused on her marriage with my stepdad. She didn't really care what I had going on academically. I didn't get the support or help from him either because he was a stepdad. He wasn't obligated to do much. My mom wasn't pushing him to do much. My mom was always selfish. She never cooked good dinners, you know. She never cared about my education, what was going on in my school. She never even really liked me having company. Like if she came over and I had a friend over, one of my homies over, she would flip out. Oh, nobody in my house, you didn't tell me all about this. But I could always go to my friend's house, no problem. Their moms didn't mind. It's not like we were terrorizing the house, we were being loud or anything. We was chilling, playing the game or watching TV or in the backyard, just chilling. Even if we were outside in the backyard, she'll have a problem with it. She forced me to go and run the streets. She got me out of New Haven, bought a house in Hampton in the suburbs, and I ended up back going to hang out in New Haven because I couldn't even chill with my friends at the house in the comfort of the suburbs she brought me to. She forced me to go back to the streets of New Haven. She forced me. So, not only did she evict me, and I had a marshal serve me papers, and I was forced to stay with my girlfriend, and me and my girlfriend were forced to get a place together. I honestly wasn't even ready to live with my girlfriend yet, but I was forced into that. At that age, I shouldn't have been living with no female. I should have still been home. A lot of black melanated mothers force their sons out of the house, force their daughters out of the house. You know what happened? I had to be maybe 22, 23. I'm riding around with my homie. We get pulled over for whatever, simple minor traffic stop. They ask for my ID, I give my ID. They tell me I got a warrant. I don't know what I have a warrant for because I haven't done anything wrong, man. I wasn't in the streets like that. Feel me? Even though my mom kicked me out, you know what I'm saying? And even though through my high school years I was still hanging out in New Haven because my mom didn't like me having company at the house and, you know, the suburbs were boring. I still wasn't in the streets, you know what I'm saying? When I got kicked out and I lived with my girlfriend and me and my girlfriend broke up and then I had a roommate, I wasn't in the streets. I was working, smoking weed, playing a video game. You know what I'm saying? My money wasn't there. I wasn't really focused, have a game plan on what I would do with my future, but I was not in the streets acting crazy. Robbing, shooting people, selling drugs like I was in my high school years. So I'm like, what is this warrant about? What I got a warrant for? Can you imagine getting arrested, being in the back of the cop car, being taken down to the precinct, and you even know what you have a warrant for, and then the cops they're not even gonna tell you, oh, we'll tell you when we get there, type stuff. So when I get there, I find out my mom had called the police and said that I was trying to break into the house. Can you believe this crap? Now, after I bonded out, I think maybe a day or two later, I called my mom, got a hold of her, and I let her know, like, you know what I mean? I just got arrested. Why'd you put this warrant out for me? And she goes, oh, the neighbors told me they saw you trying to break in through the window. So you called the police on me based off what a neighbor thought they saw? And mind you, the whole time when my mom kicked me out, I'm living with my girlfriend, I'm not calling my mom, I'm not bothering her, I'm not trying to come back home. I'm living my life because we were already arguing anyway the whole time that I've been living with her. You know? During her divorce and even after her divorce. We never got along. And I tried me attempt to get along with my mom, but she's just not right in the head. Also forgot a major part. So remember I told you how my mom was diagnosed with bipolar after she married my stepfather, right? So my mom was on disability after that. After they got a divorce, she was on disability because she couldn't work full time. So I guess she was receiving money through disability. At some point, disability started sending checks in my name. All right, I started seeing $600-700 checks in my name, and this was back in like 06, 07. So that was $600-700. What was it, a month? I think that was a good amount of money for me. You know, this was before I got kicked out. A little bit before I got kicked out. I think she was getting these checks for a while. I just didn't know about it. One day I checked the mail. I happened to just check the mail and I saw my name on it, so I opened it and it was a check for $600-700 with my name. So you know what I did? I said, let me do my own research. I called disability. I called them and I got a hold with somebody on the disability line. I said, miss, I see this check. There's a check here in my name for $600-700. You know what I mean? I want to know what this is about. You know what she told me? She said, your mom's been on disability. So because your mom was on disability, we were sending you these checks through high school. I think they stopped when I turned 18 or something like that, or stopped when I graduated high school. Usually 18 is around when you graduate high school, but I was receiving those checks since high school, since my high school years, maybe since like 16, 15, 16, every month. And my mom wasn't even telling me about this. So you know what she was doing? She was taking these checks, she was forging my signature, and she was cashing them. Because the disability told me, she said, yeah, I said, are these for me? She said, yes, those are for you. Your mom was receiving checks through disability, and these are for you through your high school years. That's what she told me. You know how pissed I was? You know how hurt I was? Because there was sneakers I wanted. There was clothes I wanted. As far as food, my mom didn't cook. I had to fend for myself. I had to go to my friend's house and eat when I was hungry. And my mom was stealing from me all this time, all these years. She was stealing $600 a month from me. You do the math. How much that adds up to. So I called my grandmother. I said, Grandma, this is messed up. Look what I just found out my mom's been doing to me. You know, I've been struggling. I need a car. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. You know what my grandmother said? Oh, she needs that money to pay the bills and keep a roof over your head, blah, 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 blah. You see how my grandmother supported the BS? And to this day, I don't speak to my grandmother or my step-grandfather, because he's not even my real grandfather, but I don't speak to neither one of them. Losers, both of them losers. My grandmother never worked. My grandmother was a stay-at-home mom who took care of the bills. My step-grandfather worked at Pratt & Whitney, and my grandmother would take care of the bills. I don't have no respect for my grandmother. How dare you defend my mom when she's been a bad mom, put men before me my whole life? Married the wrong man I told her not to marry. Tried to kick me out. Well, kick me out. You know? Wasn't there for me. Didn't support me financially. You're not even a real grandmother. And this is why I'm making this video, fellas. If you were raised by a single mom and you're experiencing similar things as me, or maybe even worse, you should not feel obligated to reconcile with her. It's her job. It's a parent's job. As a mother, you're supposed to be nurturing, caring. You're supposed to fight for your kids, fight for their love and affection, especially if you know you messed up in their younger years. It's not your job as a son to try to keep reaching out, keep trying to reconcile and make things right. My mom was a scumbag. I'm sorry, she was, and she still is, and she always will be. You know? So I let some time go by. I let a good 5-6 years go by, and I try to give her another chance. I introduced her to my new girlfriend. We said, Mom, take you out for your birthday. We told her where to meet us. We told her we're going to take care of everything. Don't worry. Me and my girlfriend get there. She's already having a drink. I'm like, what are you doing? She's already drinking. Our service is a Spanish server. My mom is trying to talk to this Spanish server. She looks Mexican to me, a lady. My mom is trying to speak Spanish, proper Spanish, not slang, proper Spanish to a Mexican waitress who speaks English. You know how embarrassing that is? And then my mom's asking my girlfriend weird questions, asking her if she's domesticated. And for those of you who don't know what domesticated means, my mom was pretty much asking my girlfriend if she cooks and cleans and stuff like that. How dare you ask my girlfriend that, and you couldn't even cook and clean? My mom used to ruin my clothes. My mom used to ruin my clothes. She could not even wash clothes. My mom couldn't cook. You know why? Because my grandmother did everything for her. I told y'all my grandmother was a stay-at-home wife while my grandfather worked at Pratt & Whitney. So my grandmother did everything, the clothes, the cooking. She didn't teach my mom nothing. She didn't teach my aunts nothing at all. And this is why I don't respect those stay-at-home moms who don't do nothing, who don't work from home, who don't do anything. Because you don't teach your daughters nothing. Everything's done. Shout out to the mothers that are nurses in nursing school. You know what I'm saying? That are working jobs, that are still taking care of their kids, that cook, that clean, but have the time to teach their kids as well. You know? Most of these stay-at-home moms are not teaching their kids nothing. They're having everything done in pretty much like a silver spoon. They're being served with a silver spoon in their mouths. I don't respect those mothers. I respect the mothers that are grinding at work and still raise their kids. And they're so tired from work, they say, come on, I'm going to teach you how to cook this so you can make it for yourself because I'm tired. I can't do this. I'm gonna teach you how to wash your clothes because I just worked a long shift. I worked overtime shift. Sometimes you need to help out. Shout out to those mothers. You know? Got too many lazy mothers out here nowadays, and it's sad. So you know what else I try to do? I try to get in contact with one of my aunts. You know what I'm saying? My mom's sister. One of my aunts that I was never really close to any of my aunts, either one of my aunts, but one of the aunts that I feel like was more the cooler, laid back aunt. So I said, you know what? Let me see what she's been up to. Try to get a relationship with my aunt. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I could talk to her and get in her ear, and she'll talk to my mom and try to get through my mom. Even though that's probably a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? You can't get through my mom. She's not right in the head. She's hard-headed. She's stuck in her ways. So I took my aunt out to dinner, paid for the dinner. We talking, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Come to find out, my aunt has been talking to some dude in Africa that she's trying to get over here to be with. This is the same aunt that has 2 kids by 2 different men, both failed. One of the kids is my female cousin. My female cousin is down south, and she has 2 kids by some abusive dude or whatever. And then there's my other cousin. His name is, we're going to call him Lil. My other cousin Lil, he's like in his 20s. He was still living with her, right? So that just goes to my point, man, about putting men before children. As you can see, my mom was the only one. It was actually both of her sisters. We only talk about one of them right now. But yeah, same issue, same problem. Putting men before their children. So yeah, my aunt told me about this African dude or whatever, and you can only imagine what's going through my head, man. Green card back. She's trying to get her a green card back. An African dude that's gonna come over here and use her and leave, because I'm sorry, my aunt, she's not ugly, but she has no body. My aunt is flat as a surfboard, flat as an ironing board. No butt, no chest, nothing. And up in the age. She has good skin, she's light skinned. I mean, she's not bad in the face, but I'm sorry, man, an African man, Africans like Nyash. NYASH. If you don't Nashes, I think that's what they refer to as buttocks, as a nice butt. So there's no way he would come here, get his green card, use her, and cheat on her until she wants a divorce, or he's gonna get the divorce. Either way, I already saw where that was going. So not even a week of trying to, you know what I'm saying, get cool with my aunt. She texting me asking me if my cousin Lil could come stay with me and live with me. Yes. I haven't spoken to my aunt since I was probably like 16. And I'm now, this was like a year or 2 ago, so I was like 32, 33, around there. 32, 33. We just starting to get cool again. You asking me if my cousin could come live with me. Mind you, my cousin does not work. He has a weird mindset. He thinks he knows everything. You know what I'm saying? One of those, today's generation. But, you see, my family ain't crap, man. Most of my whole family ain't crap. And there's a lot of stuff, a lot of other stuff about my family I might be gonna get into, because that's not what this video is about. But this video is about single mothers. Single black / melanated mothers. And I know there are other races, you know, Spanish, white, that do the same thing, but it's often with the black melanated community. Often. More than any other race. So that's why I'm making this video, man. I'm making this video. Don't feel bad, man. It's common. And don't feel forced. You know? I know there's a lot of sons out there, man, that on Mother's Day they getting flowers, and their mom's birthday they taking her out. Even though she's not a good mom, she never has been a good mom. They just say, man, it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Don't inconvenience your life. Don't do this out of guilt. Don't give her a pity party, pity birthday party out of pity because you feel bad because she's your mom. And I want to talk about real quick the scripture in the Bible. Honor thy mother and thy father, may thy days be longer. Listen, the Bible has a lot of truth, but I don't believe every single thing in the Bible. That's like with any book, any self-help book, any book you read that's going to help you with your future or your future endeavors or your career, whatever you want to get into. You can't believe every single thing you read. Some things you have to take with a grain of salt. Some things you got to say, oh, that doesn't apply to me. And when it comes to honor thy mother and father, may thy days be longer, that doesn't apply to me. Because I already told you what type of mom I have. You know? I remember a little bit after the time I took my mom out to eat, and I'm sorry because things come to me after, I be forgetting. My mom did get remarried again. And he had lost his job. And you know what my mom was telling me? Oh, I'm not gonna be with I'm not gonna take care of no man. I'm gonna have to divorce him if he don't have a job. I don't know. Piece of crap. My mom is a straight piece of crap. How dare her? How dare you go out on a limb and you take vows again, and your husband, he's up in age, he's older than her. He loses his job and you talking about you not taking care of no man? Listen, my girlfriend's Caucasian, right? I've been with her 10 years, and I was, like I said in a previous video, I was actually in another relationship with another Caucasian female while with her, and eventually I left that other one to be with her. But I lost my job. That never came out of my woman's mouth. Never came out of her mouth, and it never would. I can't believe that came out of my mom's mouth. And me and my lady are not even married. We're not married. We're not engaged. Again, I was in a whole nother relationship when I met her and was dealing with her. Didn't even tell her about it. Eventually I did, but at first I didn't. And she would never say, oh, you lost your job. I'm not taking care of no man. You got to get out. But this was my mom said about her husband. So now you see what type of mom I have. You see why I won't reconcile. From her telling me she had a life insurance policy on me when you supposed to bury your mom, not the other way around. I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not in the streets. I'm not a gangbanger. I'm not in and out of prison. For her to put a life insurance policy out on me just because she didn't hear from me. I'm doing better than my mom, and I always will be. My mom lives in a tight house. Yeah, she may own it. I don't believe it's paid off, but it's a tight house. It's nasty. And I'm pretty sure she hasn't done anything. She hasn't dusted, updating anything. And I'm younger than her, and I live in a better area, better neighborhood, bigger house. No, I'm not running the streets. So for her from doing that, for putting a life insurance policy on me, to putting a warrant out for me saying I try to break in when I'm living my life, minding my business, to stealing from me in high school, to putting men before me my whole life, to embarrassing me with my new girlfriend at a restaurant. What more do you want from me? How many chances does she think she's gonna get? Now, because my female has Facebook, I don't have none of that stuff, but she looked at my mom's Facebook. My mom goes by a Pan-Africanist. My mom considers herself a Pan-Africanist now. She's into Pan-Africanism, like Dr. Umar. Can you believe that? So I can imagine how she feels about me dating my girlfriend. And my mom has met her, and she met my previous white girlfriend, and was so, oh, I live here, she's nice. My mom's fake. But yeah, man, I want to end this video there, man. Again, I want to say to you fellas, man, don't feel obligated. If you have the type of mom I have, or maybe worse, do not feel obligated to reconcile. You don't have to. You shouldn't feel like you have to. It is up to them. All right? Comment down below. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace and love.